This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
I would like to talk about the differences that there is between the Sephardim and Ashkenazim regarding a get. There is a different, one of the main differences between Sephardim and Ashkenazim is the way we spelling the names when it comes to Shemot Lo'azim, not Hebrew names. There is a major difference the poskim mention. ספר מכתב מאליהו, הלכות גיטין, ספר הלכות קטנות, גאון גט פשוט, they all explain that the Sephardim put a yud for a tzere when it comes to not Jewish names. And also for a segol they put a yud to pronounce the tzere. And aleph, it comes to put, to pronounce the kamat. For an example, the name Rachel. The name Rachel, how do we write Rachel in a get? We're writing Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yud, Lamed. Why? Because the Aleph comes to pronounce the Kamat. Ra, Resh, Aleph. And the Yud comes to pronounce the Segol of the Shin. So Shin, Yud, Lamed. Rachel. And so on and so extra. So many names are coming with Kamat and Tzere. That's how we pronounce it again. Ashkenazim, they have a different way of doing it. They put a Ain for a Tzere. And they put the Aleph for a Cholam. And as we know, Maran posek b'siman kuf chaftet be'even ha'ezer, shina shemur shma, get batel. It's not a get. Writing the names of the men and the woman, the husband and his wife in a get, it's one of the most important things in a get. We're supposed to write it properly. If we're making a mistake in the names, the get can be pasul, sometimes can be batel completely. It's a different name, totally different name. So now, if you go to Ashkenaz, and he's going to write the name Rachel, how he's going to write it? Resh, Shin, Ayin, Lamed. That's a story that happened with Maran Rabbeinu Ovadia Yosef when he was a Dayan in Petah Tikva. I remember the Rav tells us the story. And he wrote in Yabia Omer Chelek Yud. There was a woman there, her name was Rachel, a Sephardi woman. And the Rav said, we're supposed to write it, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yud, Lamed. As Bechtam Eliyahu says, as Get Pashut says. And the Ashkenaz Dayan over there was arguing with him. If you write Resh, Aleph for the Ashkenazim, it's a Cholam. And the Yud is for the Hirik. So Ashkenazim is going to read it Roshil instead of Rachel. So Arav is asking him, how do you want to write it? He says, I want to write Shin, Ayin, Lamed. Ayin comes also to Zere. So Arav says, for us, it's not going to be Rachel, it's going to be Rash'al. And that's going to be a different name, it's going to be Pasul. Arguing back and forth until in the end he convinced him that we, Sephardim, supposed to follow our custom is supposed to follow our minhag. Ashkenazim is supposed to follow their minhag. Al titosh Torah timecha. Therefore, Sefer Sadeh Hamed, Rabbi Hizkiyahu Chaim Medini says, Sephardim should do a get by a Sephardi bedin. Ashkenazim should do a get by Ashkenaz bedin. Why? So many differences in the names, and if they're not baki in the shemot, they can make a mistake that can cause the get to be pasul. And we're talking about Eshet Ish. They're going to be matir Eshet Ish le'alma, and they cause banim to be mamzerim because of a mistake in the names. Especially here in Queens, that we have a large Sephardi community. Baruch Hashem, the Sephardi community is above 100,000 people. And we have our own bedin here in Queens. How is it possible we hear that some Sephardim go to Ashkenaz bedin, and they're not so baki in the Shemot regarding the Sephardim. They're not baki in the Sephardi names, the way we're pronouncing it. If they're going to make a mistake on the get, that's going to be a get pasul. A story like this happened with us recently, not too long ago. Was an Iraqi person wants to get divorced. We want to get divorced, and by the court they put the name of one of the Ashkenaz bedin in Brooklyn. So they went over there, and the husband is Avrech. Comes over to me and he says the rabbi in the bedin said they're going to write his father's name. His father's name was Emil. Emil, it's a known French name that's been used by Sephardim, especially Iraqi Sephardim. They use this French name, Emil. How he wanted to write it? He wanted to write Ain, Mem, Yud, Lamed. Why Ain? Because Ain comes for Segol. So Emil, you pronounce it with the Segol. So Ain, Mem, Yud, Lamed. Emil. So this Sephardi Avrech, he's not expert in Halachot Gitin, but it looked to him strange. He knows his father's name. His father's name is not Amil. His father's name is Emil. He reads it Amil. If you give a Sephardi to read the name Ayin Mem Yud Lamed, he's going to read it Amil. For Ashkenazim, they're going to read it Emil. For Sfaradim, they're going to read it Amil. It's a different name, completely different name. So I spoke with this Dayan, and I explained it to him. I said, listen, for us, for the Sfaradim, the way we write Emil in the get, it's Aleph Yud, Mem Yud Lamed. Emil. Aleph Yud comes for the Tzereh, and the second Yud for the Hirik, Emil. He argued with me. And he said, I'm writing a get the way I know how to write a get. I said, the husband is Sfaradi. His wife is Sfaradi. Both families are Sfaradim. You're going to write for them a get like Ashkenazim? That's going to be a get pasul. You're going to be Matir Reshet Ish La'amad this way? He said, I have a Kabbalah from Rav Moshe that this is how I should write a get. I said, if Rav Moshe was here now, he would tell you, write the get the way I'm telling you. Kabbalah from Rav Moshe 70 years ago, maybe it was not Sfaradim back then, maybe it was not a Sephardi Bedin back then. How can you have a Kabbalah? He was Moreh for Ashkenazim. Now that we have a large Sephardi community and we have our own Bedin, you're supposed to follow the Sephardi minhag. And for us, it's completely Shinui Hashem. I told him, listen, if you're going to write the get this way, we're going to go publicly against this get. We're going to say publicly, let's get a pasul. We're going to have to do another get in order to permit this woman. He said, you know what, for the Rav, let me ask, let me find out. He called me a day later, says, you know, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, I'm accepting your opinion, we're going to write the get the right way. Aleph, Yud, Mem, Yud, Lamed. Baruch Hashem. He accepted it. He spoke to a few rabbanim, they all told him, yeah, there is a difference between Sfaradim and Ashkenazim. Agon Maran Rabbeinu Ovadia Yosef Alav Shalom, Be'abi Amar Helek Yud, writes clearly, Sfaradim should go to a Sephardic Bedin. Here in Queens, Baruch Hashem, we have a Sephardic Bedin, professionals, they know how to, they're writing Gittin for many, many years. They have Masorah from Rabbeinu Azra'ati Alav Shalom, from Rabbeinu Ovadia Yosef Alav Shalom. Sephardim should go to a Sephardic Bedin. And especially, I know for a fact that there is no Bekiut in Sephardi names in the Ashkenaz Bedin here. So therefore, each community should use their own Bedin. Ashkenaz should go to Ashkenaz Bedin, they Baki for Ashkenaz Minhagim, they Baki for Ashkenaz names. Sephardi should go to Sephardi Bedin, they became in the Sephardic Minhagim, they became in the Sephardic names. ברצון שהכל מקומו יבוא בשלום, נזכה בעזרת השם לגאולה השלמה במהרה בימינו, אמן ואמן.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.